Days are growing longer, the humidity's climbing and the windy days are far less frequent. Just about every afternoon, heavy cumulus clouds are forming, yet we've only had a few light showers that have hardly taken a speck of dust off the trees, and all the animals appear to be anticipating the arrival of the big wet any day now. As the dry season has dragged on, the creeks and rivers have quickly become the only permanent sources of water, which benefited us as it concentrated a lot of wildlife to their margins, making our walks along them very prosperous. And I guess by this point I've now come to terms with the fact that perhaps I won't physically catch Dorianus, as we're probably running out of time, but I still wish for it, and we continue to hunt for at least a decent shot of a nice specimen. Alright guys, we've just caught this beautiful big water python making his way down the riverbed here. I'm going to surprise him. Oh, look at this thing. Sick! Oh my god, it's beautiful. What is it, about 10:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
And he's just
Swimming around
looking for a fish dinner. Rolled birds. He's freaking out a wee bit. Hopefully you can get out there. Wow, he's a beauty. He's a big one.
Yeah, he's the biggest one.
Oh, it's lovely colour.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Rich orange.
Look at that. It's huge.
He's a wild noodle. It's alright, buddy. It's alright. We're seeing so many signs of life up this creek bed at the moment. Look at that impressive snake. It's something I'm not accustomed to. It's just seeing pythons swimming around. It's mental.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Biggest water python we ever seen. Holy. Oh, look at that.
There's a lump.
Can we hold the camera?
Go down the bank. Get a slow-mo of him going into the water. I've been filming him a wee bit.
Okay, hang on.
So we're heading up the river looking for Dorianus again. It's a bit of an overcast, cloudy, windy day, but there's some pockets of sun coming out. And we've got that ripper python out again. Just about a week later. Same python working the same general stretch of riverbank. So he's a big resident here. Look at this snake. Morning, mate. He's got a green ant on his nose. Don't much like it. So by no means are water pythons difficult to get. If you spotlight and road patrol at night, you'll definitely get them. And it doesn't matter the time of year, although obviously the summer wet season is the peak time. They're getting flushed out the forest during the floodwaters. Some nights we were seeing several of them. Despite that, however, I actually have very few photos and videos of them, so my apologies. But in hindsight, I think it must have been because we'd always find them during the heaviest of downpours, which always makes me a little reluctant to go pulling out a heap of gear. But here's a few nice shots that we did get of what is a very well-demeanored species, and for those parents watching that perhaps wish for or can encourage their children to be brave and become comfortable around snakes, this is a really good species to use if you're wanting to handle snakes for the first time. For those considering a trip up into the Iron Range, just 17 k's west of the Mount Tosa lookout, a spot definitely worth visiting is the Garraway Falls. Here it is peak dry. I'll show you some footage peak wet later on, but unfortunately for us on this particular day it was hot and dry and a bit non-productive. We were there at a bad time, but we found some sheet tin on the way out, which always gets me a bit excited.
Same.
Looks like someone's in there and done it for us, but... Okay, I'm going to need it.
You need to lift?
Just gently, because we don't want to cut him. Okay, stop there for a moment.
Yeah.
God, he's slimy. Okay, I might have to just
Lift
take him
it.
out the other side.
Okay.
So we didn't go to the trouble of moving that tin to get that little spotted python, as we have a tendency to find them all the time. And we were excited just to continue flipping to see what else we could find that was perhaps a bit more exciting.
No.
Yeah, more binos up here.
Yeah, okay.
Just little geckos.
No. Nothing. She's here. Sorry, did not see her. She's coming. Grab her.
No, you grab her. Sorry, I can't. She's harmless. So just grab. Come here.
She's coming to you. I'll hold this. You grab her.
Oh, how my dear wife makes me laugh sometimes. She's held pythons large enough to eat her alive, yet here she is afraid of this tiny little cutie. So this beautiful little spotted python. Lovely colour. She's in a really good nick. She's freshly molted. She feels really slimy and glossy through the hands, I suspect. No, she doesn't smell too bad actually.
This is the first thing we find. No, second thing we find under the
Tin.
tin.
So two spotted pythons, because there's one
Yeah.
over there. So they're probably partners too. Sounds like we
Can you
might have
get a bit of
spooked
a
something
rust?
over here,
Yeah.
because there's something making its
We
way
can
through
hear
the grass
rustling.
behind us, or maybe it's just the grass that I've stood on sort of coming back up again, but definitely sounds like something's over there. Okay.
Anyhow, take a
Beautiful.
photo.
So I shouldn't have mentioned peak wet, because unfortunately you can't go anywhere near Garraway Falls peak wet. All the rainforest creeks are uncrossable and you can't get anywhere near the joint. It wouldn't serve you any good anyway, because the crocs are up there chasing barramundi, so you can't swim there. But this is late in the monsoon once it's calmed down a bit. Once you turn off the main road heading into Garraway Falls, the last couple of kilometres comprises of this beautiful heath country with a heap of rather megalithic-like termite mounds that tower metres above a variety of low-growing, acid-loving, but more importantly, very nectar-rich flowering plants. You'll find the Leptospermum tea tree, the Melaleuca paperbark, grevilleas and xanthorrhoea grass trees, just to name a few. To most, this rather dry sandy habitat probably doesn't look that spectacular, but I assure you that actually couldn't be further from the truth. You see, these nectar-rich plants play host to a good number of not only insect and bird species, but several notable reptile species, like to notice skinks, black-throat dragons, blue tongues, death adders, mulga snakes, and a load of other snakes that we herpers love to find. But then also the mixed Melaleuca acacia forest surrounding the outskirts is a great spot to find both northern and giant tree gecko. So in total, quite a good spot to devote some time if you're planning a herping trip up into the Iron Range. And on your return journey home, another spot well worth a little look is this swamp on the side of the road, just down probably 300 metres from Mount Tosa, full of carnivorous plants. Alright, so something I find really interesting about these pitcher plants is they've evolved to have these pitchers because there's such a distinct lack of nutrients in the soils here. So they're kind of like one of those weed species that's learnt to grow where nothing else or very few other plants can. This swampy lowland area full of this very dense, compact sand that's always saturated and wet becomes very anaerobic, therefore very acidic. So it's very hard for plants to uptake certain nutrients in acid soils. So the pitcher plant has evolved to get around that by digesting insects instead for nutrients. Really, really cool adaptation. How's about we tip one out and examine the contents?
There you go. It's a nice
Collection of ants and fine
definitely.
insects. A few beetles. Oh, that's
Is that
weevil.
a spider?
I think that's a weevil, that one.
Okay. There you go.
Wow, okay. Try and pour it back in, I guess, but very cool.
Ah.
Not so easy. By far the most prolific group you'll see are the Drosera, better known as sundew. Now they too dissolve insects to feed on, but their method is a bit different. Instead of vases that insects fall into, they rely on these sweet, very sticky little globules of nectar on the end of the rosettes, as you can see here. Small insects are lured in by the offer of a sugary reward, whereby they become stuck and struggle further, just like you'd be accustomed to seeing in a spider's web. The sundew then detects these minute movements and with hydraulic pressure roll over even more of those sticky globules over the bug, completely immobilizing it and slowly digesting it.
Okay.
Finally.
Oh my god.
Cake your blue tongue.
Oh my god.
It's an absolute delight.
Massive.
That's
Oh my god. It has the same pattern as the jungle python from here.
Yeah, it does.
Like that brown.
Not the jungle python.
Sorry,
Cape York.
Oh my god.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
This really is.
Yeah, it resembles the carpet snake so much.
Can you take a photo, please? I'm just admiring. Just beautiful. Well, I didn't have much hope of finding one alive, so I'm very, very pleased.
Let's see if we can get some
And I did not
blue tongue.
think that they get this big, honestly. It's huge.
This and the blue tail monitor were the last sort of wish list animals on our list.
Yeah, since we found one dead, chopped in half on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a car?
I think so.
Amazing, come on, buddy, come on. She's like, my tail is too fat.
So I'd just seen the last couple of inches of a fair-sized snake leave the road, so I slammed the brakes on, grabbed the tools and headed for where I'd last seen it. On the approach, I thankfully noticed it had left a nice trail in the gravel because I would have overshot it otherwise. So I'd had my fingers crossed that it'd be a taipan because by this stage we'd seen a load of dead ones and the few living ones we had seen were quick to spook into the long grass. Anyone familiar with taipans will attest to the fact that you probably only get your hands on about 1 in 10 that you come across. They're a highly agile, upwardly mobile snake that really don't dig your company. And whilst I allowed this one time to become accustomed to my holding it, I couldn't help but think what to do because although I've had my fair share of taipans over the years, I've never managed to get the shots that I'd hoped for, usually because I was on my own or didn't happen to own a nice camera at the time. And that makes me think to myself, God, here on the side of the main road heading into town is a really crappy place for us to try and shoot this beautiful snake. The risk of it getting into the long grass and escaping is highly likely, so I opt to bag it knowing there's an ideal quarry just down the road where we'll have a heap of room to move and the time to be able to fully enjoy and take in this awesome experience. Such a shield, but it's because it's cold as well. Come in close on the belly. Have a look at all the scales up there.
Typical Inukalis, huh? Like that. Orange.
Yeah, very similar to the brown snakes, but obviously taipans have the freckles as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't like hairs as well.
See how it's big snake, really confident, not feeling under threat or anything.
Well, it's a coolish morning because obviously we've had that bit of rain just whilst we were waiting. But, not too hot and fired up, but pretty placid, big, confident, mature snake. If this snake were half this size, would feel far more threatened by us. My personal observations are that once taipans get a certain size, they become very confident in their lethality. They know they're no longer getting harassed by birds of prey and things like that in their environment, so they have a tendency to behave a lot better when handled than, say, a young juvenile snake.
It's like more cooperative.
Yes.
They cooperate a bit more easily.
Really struggling to get purchase on this loose gravel. She's having to work quite hard to try and escape. Oh, she's going to fall back down. I'll give her a little bit of aid.
Yeah.
Get her coming down the other side. What an absolutely beautiful taipan.
Yeah, she's coming. Nice.
That camera quickly.
You're in the dark. You've got a bit of shade.
Okay, I just slow down. Alrighty, Nature Nutters, I hope that gave you your wildlife fix for another week, and don't forget to join us next week for another fully action-packed adventure with plenty more of the weird and wonderful critters found in the Iron Range. Plus, our dear little orphan bandicoot Hazel will be joining us. Also, be sure to remember, you can only come see more and be brighter with Brother Nature. Remember, hit a little